AITA for kicking out my wife's sister after she accused me of manipulating my wife into getting pregnant. Okay, so I, 26M, have been with my wife, 26F, since we were 19. We got married young, at 21, and from the very beginning, she always told me she didn't want kids. Ever. I respected that completely. I never pressured her. I loved her for who she was, not for some future idea of a family. Back then, we were still figuring life out. She was 20, fresh into adulthood, and honestly, so was I. We focused on work, travel, growing together. We were happy. Fast forward to now, we're both 26, more stable, and life has changed a lot. A few months ago, my wife came to me and said she'd been thinking about motherhood. She said her views had shifted, and that she might want to try for a baby. We had a lot of deep talks, no pressure, no pushing. Just honest conversations. Eventually, we decided together to start trying. And a few months later, we got the news. She's pregnant. We were over the moon. We decided to invite both our families for a dinner and surprise them with the announcement. At first, it was perfect. My parents were thrilled. Her mom cried happy tears. Lots of hugs, laughter, congratulations. Then came the crash. My wife's aunt and her daughter, my wife's sister, didn't clap. Didn't smile. They just stared. And then, right in front of everyone, her sister said something like, "Wait, you're pregnant? You didn't want kids. What did he do to convince you?" I laughed awkwardly at first, thinking she was joking. But she wasn't. She looked straight at me and said, "He must have manipulated you. He's always had anger issues and gets controlling." The room went silent. I was stunned. I told her that wasn't true at all, that my wife and I had decided this together. That we'd been trying for a baby. But she wouldn't let it go. She kept talking over me, saying she knew her sister, and that I must have pushed her into it. I could feel the blood rushing to my face. I looked at her and said something like, "My issues are none of your business, and if you're going to stand here and accuse me in my own house, you can leave." My wife stood up for me. She told her sister that yes, she had changed her mind and that this pregnancy was 100% her choice. She said no one pressured her. Still, the damage was done. Her sister and aunt left, but the whole mood had shifted. What was supposed to be one of the happiest nights of our lives turned into something awkward and heavy. I can't stop thinking about it. I feel like I made a huge mistake by even inviting her sister in the first place. The rest of the evening felt weird. People tried to keep things light, my mom changed the subject, my brother cracked a few jokes, but you could feel it. The tension was still there, hanging in the air like a bad smell. My wife kept smiling and saying she was okay, but I could tell it had gotten to her. After everyone left, we just sat on the couch in silence for a while. She eventually said, "I should have known they'd react like that," and then she cried. That broke me. I wasn't even mad anymore, I was just heartbroken for her. This was supposed to be her moment, and it got stolen by people who were supposed to love her. Instead of celebrating her choice, they made her feel like a victim. Like she didn't know her own mind. We talked more that night. She opened up about her relationship with her sister and how things had always been a little tense. Apparently, when she first told her sister months ago that she was considering kids, her sister freaked out and said things like, "That's not you," and "He's changing you." I didn't even know any of this. My wife had kept it to herself because she didn't want to start drama. She thought they'd come around once they saw how happy we were. Now she feels guilty. Like she's torn between two worlds, starting her own family with me, and still being her sister's ally in some weird emotional loyalty pact. It's like her sister took her old decision not to have kids and made it her entire personality, and now she feels betrayed because my wife changed her mind. I tried to comfort her. I told her she's allowed to grow. To change. To want new things. People evolve, that's what being human is. But even as I said it, I could see how heavy it all weighed on her. And me? I keep replaying that moment over and over. I wonder if I should have handled it differently. Maybe I could have pulled her sister aside quietly. Maybe I shouldn't have reacted so strongly. But man, it felt like she ambushed me, like she had this speech rehearsed, just waiting for the right time to drop it. Even now, a few days later, the group chat is quiet. No messages from her sister. Not even from the aunt. My wife says she's not ready to reach out, and honestly, I don't blame her. But I know this isn't over. Eventually, someone's going to expect an apology. Or at least some kind of peacemaking. I just don't know what to do next. I feel protective of my wife, but I also don't want to be the reason her family falls apart. A couple days after the dinner, we got a text from my wife's mom. Just a short message. Can we talk soon? This has gone too far. She didn't say who she meant. It could have been aimed at me, or at her other daughter, but it made both of us tense. My wife didn't reply right away. She just stared at her phone and muttered, "Too far." I'm the one who got ambushed. I tried to stay neutral, even though inside I was boiling. I get that family stuff is complicated, but how is this my fault? We hosted, we shared happy news, we didn't insult anybody. And somehow, I'm the manipulative one. A few hours later, my wife's mom called. My wife answered it on speaker because she didn't want to talk alone. The first thing her mom said was, "Sweetheart, I just want to understand what's really going on. Your sister's very upset." My wife took a deep breath and said, "What's going on is that I got pregnant because I wanted to. That's it." Her mom sighed and said something that honestly made my blood boil. "I think it just happened so suddenly, you can't blame your sister for being surprised." Suddenly. We've been married for years. We've been trying for months. The only thing sudden was how quickly her sister turned my wife's pregnancy into an accusation. My wife stayed calm, way calmer than I would have been. She explained, again, that this was her choice, and that her sister had no right to question her agency like that in front of everyone. Her mom said she understood, but kept circling back to how the situation made her sister feel. That word, feel, kept coming up. She just feels like she's losing her sister. She feels like she doesn't recognize you anymore. She feels like maybe, my name, pressured you, even if he didn't mean to. It was exhausting. My wife finally said, "So her feelings matter more than my reality?" Her mom went quiet after that. The call ended politely, but it didn't really solve anything. It just confirmed what we already suspected: her sister is making this all about herself. And instead of holding her accountable, her family is tiptoeing around her emotions while we sit here, picking up the pieces of what was supposed to be a joyful time. Later that night, my wife scrolled through some old photos on her phone, ones of her and her sister growing up, of birthdays and vacations, college move-in day, things like that. She didn't say much, but I could tell what she was thinking. She misses her sister. She hates that things are like this. But at the same time, she's hurt. Really hurt. And me? I'm stuck in the middle. I don't want to be the guy who came between two sisters. But I also refuse to pretend like I'm some manipulative villain just to keep the peace. It's like we're walking a tightrope now. Balancing our future, our baby, our peace, against a past that refuses to let go. A few days go by. No one from her sister's side reaches out. Until one night, around 10 p.m., my wife gets a text. "I still can't believe you're going through with this. I miss who you used to be." From her sister. No greeting. No congrats or sorry for the other night. Just that. My wife stared at her phone for a long time. Then she locked it, set it face down, and went to brush her teeth without saying anything. But I saw her eyes, red, wet, blinking too fast. That kind of silence that says everything. She didn't reply. Not that night. Not the next day. But I could tell it was gnawing at her. She finally said, "She thinks I'm a traitor." I told her that was ridiculous. That people don't get to trap you in who you were at 20 and then get mad when you grow. I told her that this baby doesn't erase who she was, it just adds to who she is. She nodded, but I could see the guilt still clinging to her. Not because she regretted the pregnancy. But because she still wanted her sister to be happy for her. To accept her. To show up and say, "Okay, maybe I was wrong. But I love you, and I'm here." That never came. Instead, 2 nights later, we found out from her cousin that her sister had gone on a rant on social media. Nothing with names, but obvious enough if you knew the context. Stuff like, "Funny how some people throw away their beliefs just to keep a man. Manipulators come in many forms. Even ones who smile at your family dinners. Some people are too scared to stand up to the person who controls them." It was vague. But also not vague at all. And it wasn't just a one-off, it was a whole story. Multiple posts. Replies in the comments. Her friends hyping her up. Talking about toxic masculinity and how scary it is when women change after marriage. I showed it to my wife. She just stared at the screen and whispered, "I can't believe she's doing this." And I'll be honest, I lost it. I didn't post anything. I didn't message her sister. But I paced our hallway for almost an hour, fists clenched, because what do you do when someone paints you as a monster to the world and you're not allowed to fight back without looking worse? This isn't just a family argument anymore. This is character assassination. And it's starting to bleed into every part of our lives. My wife's old college friends are seeing the posts. Some are DMing her asking if she's okay. One even said, "I had no idea things were like that with him." Like what? This woman is rewriting our entire relationship into a Lifetime movie, and now strangers are starting to believe it. We're supposed to be picking baby names, shopping for cribs, talking about how to paint the nursery. Instead, we're sitting in the dark, holding each other, wondering if this pregnancy announcement somehow became a war. And the worst part? My wife still hasn't blocked her sister. She keeps checking her page. Hoping, maybe, she'll take it all down. But she won't. A week later, my wife finally hit her limit. We were having a quiet morning. She was curled up on the couch with tea, scrolling her phone silently. Then she suddenly put it down, stood up, and said, "I need to say something to her. Not for her, for me." I didn't try to stop her. She sat at the dining table and typed a message for nearly an hour. She kept rewriting it, pausing to wipe her eyes, but eventually, she looked up and said, "Can you read it?" This is what she wrote. "I loved you more than anyone growing up. You were my best friend, my protector, my biggest influence. You've always been strong in your beliefs, and I respected that. But the way you've treated me over this pregnancy has crossed a line. You say I've changed. I have. I've grown. And it hurts that instead of supporting me, you chose to shame me in front of our family, spread lies online, and treat me like I'm some kind of victim who doesn't know her own mind. I made this choice because I wanted to. Not because I'm weak. Not because I'm scared of my husband. But because I'm ready for this new chapter of my life. I love you. But I will not allow you to keep hurting me or my family. Until you can respect me as I am now, not who you want me to be, I think we need space." She hit send. No dramatic follow-up. No back and forth. Just silence. We expected an angry response, or maybe a phone call. But instead, nothing. A whole day passed. Then another. And then, the posts started coming down. One by one. Quietly. No apology. No explanation. Just deletion. A few days later, her mom called again. This time the tone was different. She said, "I think your sister's realizing she went too far." She didn't excuse it this time. Didn't try to defend anyone. She just said she hoped someday there could be healing, but that for now, she understood we needed space. And that was it. Since then, we've focused on us. We painted the nursery together last weekend, soft greens and whites. Picked out a crib. Even had our first real laugh in a while when my wife tried to assemble a mobile and ended up hot-gluing two tiny giraffes upside down. The silence from her sister still stings. I know my wife wishes things could be different. But something shifted after that message. She stood up for herself, for her future, and I've never been prouder of her. She's not the same girl she was at 20. She's stronger now. Wiser. Ready to be a mother. And me? I still have moments where I replay what happened. Where I wonder if I could have said less, stayed calmer. But I also know this. I didn't manipulate her. I loved her. I waited. I supported. And now, we're building something beautiful together, just the two of us, and soon, 3. So. AITA for kicking her sister out after that accusation? Or was I just protecting my wife, our joy, and our future?